Hey guys, Sparkle here, and in the following video I am going to show you how to make this. And it is a simple raw video, there's no fancy editing. I hope you get a laugh and learn how to make this square all at the same time. Enjoy! Okay, so welcome to my tutorial on how I do my granny squares. I am using a size 4 very thick yarn. Actually this I'm using is wool. 100% wool. I'm using a 6.5 hook. Now my favorite is a 3.5. I love a 3.5 hook, but I'm going to make it nice and big so you guys can see what I'm doing. So normally you would start out with a magic circle. I am not a magic circle girl. I don't like them at all. I don't find them reliable, and with granny squares they can often come apart. So what you're going to do is we're actually going to just tie an actual knot onto our crochet hook the size of our hook. Okay, don't worry about this little piece here. I'm not too worried about tails. Okay. In another video I can show you how I hide tails so that you don't have to pull them all in at the end, but this is just going to be strictly granny square. So instead of a magic circle, I do chain 3. The best part about this way of making a circle is if you're doing a square that has 4 sides, you do 3. If you're doing a pentagon that has 5 sides, you would do 4. So you're going to do 1 less chain than the amount of sides that you're trying to have on your finished granny product, okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 off of here. So I bring my needle up straight and grab and pull through. A lot of people do a twisting motion, but I find when you're doing your chain, if you do a twisting motion, your chain will twist. So chain 1, 2, 3, and it should look something like this. Okay? So then you're going to take your hook and you're going to push it down through that very first chain. And it should look like this. Okay, you want your working tail at the bottom, and then you're going to take your hook and you're going to pull your working yarn like a slip knot through both. And what we've done is we've created, sorry, get my finger in here, we've created the circle that we're going to be working out of. So it might be really hard to see right now, but what we've done is, I'll pull it out a bit for you to see. There we go. What we've done is we've created our main foundation for our circle. Okay, that little spot right there. Now some people mark it with a stitch marker so they know what hole they're going into. I personally just keep my pointer finger in that hole and put my thumb. That way I know where it is. Okay. Then get my hook back on my yarn here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I've taken that excess tail and I've caught it up in this. That's one of the ways I hide them. I'm not going to go back over how I did that. If your tail is still out, that's fine. So then you are going to double crochet. So wrap around once in through that hole we created. Grab that yarn, pull it through 1. That should give you 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to grab it and pull it through 2, and then grab it and pull it through again. And you'll see what we've created here. So this is 1 and 2. We're going to do that one more time. So we're going to go up and in that circle, and pull through, gives us 3, pull through 2, pull through 2. You should have something that looks like this. these three together, you'll find in some tutorials, some people call them shells. Okay, that's how I will refer to them as well, so you know. So we've done one shell. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to single stitch 1, single stitch 2, sorry, chain 1, chain 2, I'm mixing in my knitting terminology. And we're going to go around again and in the hole, pull through 2, pull through 2. And now what we've created is we've created a corner. This is going to be the first corner. Okay, so then you're going to do 2 more just like I showed you, around and through and out, and in 2, and in 2, then around and through and out, and through 2, and through 2. And we've created, as you can see here, our second shell. Now you're not going to chain in between these because we need these to be together, okay? But once we get 3 done, you're going to chain 2 again, then right back in that center circle, which now is very apparent as to where it is. So that's why I don't mark it with a stitch marker, because once you get 2 in there, you know where it is, okay? Then around and in and out, and 2 and 2, around and in and out, and 2 and 2, around, in, out, 2 and 2. Okay, so now we have 3. Now the best part about doing your circle this way as well is you can then adjust these shells. You can move them around on the circle, stretch and make the space that you need. So now we're going to chain 2, then right back in there again, so around and in and around and out, 2 and 2, around and in, grabbing it, and 2 and 2, around and in, 2 and 2. Now you may find that your project overlays on itself like this, which is why I mentioned the circle being so much better than magic circle, because all you have to do is grab this and stretch it over and pull it out and make your space. Okay, so now as you can see, we have 4 shells, with that very first chain 3 being the third one in the first shell. Okay, so you're going to chain 2, and then on this very first one here that we made, see how it goes up? That first flat connecting stitch right on the top of that second double crochet, we're going to take our needle and we're going to stick it straight through the top of that. Okay, then you're going to grab it and pull it through, and then slip stitch, pull it through again. Okay, and now what we have here is the base for your granny square. And don't worry about the center looking too wonky in the beginning, because they really do lay themselves out and figure themselves out. Now, something I've learned over time is you never want to be working the same direction with a granny square. So what we're going to do is we're now, pull that tight, that's okay. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it should look like this. Then what you're going to do is flip it on itself this way. And this is going to look kind of weird and out of place, but right in here, you're going to find that first corner we made, okay? So your chain is coming out and you're back to this corner. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go around and in that hole, and you're going to chain 2, or sorry, pull through 2, okay? Then around and in and pull through 2. And just like that very first granny square we made, that created our first shell. So that chain 3 that came up is our third piece here, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're not going to chain. We're going to go directly into this next corner. So you're going to go around and into this corner and out, pull through 2, pull through 2. You're going to do it 2 more times, around and in and out, pull through 2, pull through 2, around and in and out, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay? So you see now we've started this next side. Now once you get to this point, depending on the kind of wool you're using, you may want to use a stitch marker because it's very easy to get lost in what you're doing. Personally, I don't use them anymore, but I will put one here for demonstration purposes, if I can find one in my stuff. Use this one. Okay, so we'll chain that onto that very first 3 that you did, okay? That's your corner. Alright, so back to this. So now we've just double crocheted 3 into here. And what we have to do is we have to go this way, so we have to make the next corner. So you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Okay, so see how we've come up? That's created our height. Then we go around and in, and we're going to double crochet 3. So 1, 2, 3. Thing about granny squares is you're just doing a whole lot of repeating of the same motion, okay? So now you can see that we've made our corner. Okay, that chain 2 is what helps us connect up. So now from here, we're going to direct double crochet, no chaining for this, around and into this next corner. Pull through 2, pull through 2, around in, pull through 2, pull through 2, around in, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, so it'll look something like this. And now we're at this next corner, so we're going to flip our work. Then we're going to chain 2. We're going to go right back in there again. Double crochets, 3 of them. 1, 2, factory knot, that's beautiful. 3, I'm not going to worry about that, that's why we're using scrap yarn today. Okay, so now you can see how the shape is developing on itself. So, same thing, right into this corner, no chaining. The only time you're going to chain is to create the corners. Otherwise, all you're doing is adding extra gaps or extra space in your yarn that you don't need to. Okay, so we've got we just did our chain 3. Okay, and we're sitting here, so this is looking pretty good already. We're going to chain 2 because we are in a corner. Then we're going to go right back in here again and double crochet 3. 1, 2. My wool is attacking me. Go over there, wool. Sometimes you got to throw it across the room. That's just how wool goes. Sometimes it's just got to go. 3. Okay. So now we can remove this stitch marker because we know this is where we're supposed to be. And it almost looks like we don't know where to go next, right? Because we have these very well-defined holes. So if you separate your shells, you'll notice that that next hole is right there where we made the very first chain in this row, okay? So no chaining, direct in, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. If you are someone who already crochets, you will understand how incredibly difficult it is to slow yourself down for these tutorials, but I'm trying. So now this was our last shell. So we are going to chain 2, just like we've been doing. And then that very first 3 that we did on this level, just like the first one, there's going to be that first flat top stitch. Some people call this the third stitch. To me, it's just the flat stitch. And we're going to go into that flat stitch directly across. And we're going to pull through and pull through. And as you can see, once you block, you've got a pretty good little granny square here. You're just going to continue in that way all the way around, remembering to turn your work. So now we've just finished this row. So we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to flip the square. You're always working back at yourself in order for it to keep its shape, because here where you can see how it looks like a pretty good square, but then here it looks like it's coming in a bit too much. By rotating your work back and forth, that's what's making the proper square. Okay, so just like we did before, we're going to do 2 double crochets into here. So over, in, out, 2 and 2, over, in, out, 2 and 2. And just like every other time that we have done these rows, sorry, my yarn is being silly, we've created the next shell in the row. Okay, so you're just going to continue in that fashion, but the thing is that every row you get bigger, you're going to have more in here in between to fill. So you have to make sure you're not chaining, because you're going to create corners where there aren't any. So since this is our first middle one, we are going to just double crochet 3 times, creating a shell. You want to make sure your work is loose, your yarn isn't too tight. Excuse me. A lot of times when people are first starting to crochet, the biggest mistake they make is they hold their feeding yarn so tight that they are forcing that crochet hook in and out and trying to make it work. And crochet should flow, just effortlessly flow. So now once you've got this, see if I can zoom out my camera here a bit. Perfect. Okay, so now we have this, and we've started our 3rd row. If you need your marker, you're going to put it in that very first one that we did. So we direct crocheted into this one. Now we're going to direct crochet into this one. 3 doubles, just like we've been doing. Slow it down one more time here. Around and in, grab this and this. Okay? So now this is a corner. So now we chain 2. And then we double crochet 3 back into here again. Now, how wide your shells are, how big your shells are, that is all dependent on the wool and the pattern that you're using. This one right now, we are using a 3 double crochets, because that's a classic granny square is 3 double crochets. I'm working on a sweater right now that's only 2, but it's because I'm using 3 types of yarn that are all mixed together. So I don't need 3. 2 is thick enough. Sorry, apparently I'm not decided to film in my wool while we were doing this, so that's okay. That's why these are real life tutorials and not fancy YouTube tutorials. Okay, so we've created our corner. Direct crochet. 1, 2. 1, 2. And 2. Okay. Direct into this corner. I'm guessing most people who are watching my tutorials aren't exactly beginners, so it may be a little bit easier to catch on. If you are a super beginner, this may not be the tutorial for you. Okay, so we've we've started our row and direct crocheted into where we started. We direct crocheted into the middle, direct crocheted into the end, then we chain 2, direct crocheted back into that same hole, direct crochet, so now we're at the corner again. So now we chain 2 and then go direct again right into that same hole, 3 doubles, okay, and once again we've created that corner. So then direct crochet into the center one, 3 doubles, direct crochet into that corner, 3 doubles. Ooh, once in a while you drop the wool, that's okay. My wool is getting very short and it's pulling against me here. Okay, look at for nothing. Goodness sakes. Okay, so we're in a corner. So we're going to double crochet and then we're going to go right back into here again with 3. Okay. Direct into our middle. Okay, and then it's that, we're back at the beginning, so it's that one that you have to find, direct 3 into that, okay, and then we're back at our corner. Now if you're using certain types of yarn, you'll always be able to tell where you end, which is why for me it doesn't really matter depending on what I'm using. But we're back at this corner, so we're going to chain 2, then back into that top flat stitch and pulling all the way through like a slip knot. Okay, now say this is as big as we would like our square to go. Okay, so you've cut it off here, so you're going to take that and pull it directly through, but before you tighten it, you're just going to pull that corner out a little bit, just so you can get that nice shape. Okay, then grab where your connection is, pull that yarn tight. Then for me, the way I do this is I hide tails immediately. I do not have the time for that nonsense. So I just go right in and bring them out. Then I bring it down and around one of the crochets, or one of the double crochets. I flip my work and I bring it up through the back, and then I just randomly put it through anything back here that I can find to bring it through. I do it at least 3 times, then I cut off the excess. Okay, and there is your finished granny square. Color changing I do a little bit differently. I'm not going to put color changing in this video, but this is just how to make the granny squares like I made in my blanket. So I hope this tutorial was easy to follow and a little comical, because I'm not trying to be a professional crochet YouTuber here, but this is just how I do my squares. And yeah.